Alright guys, gals, and everything in between! I am so excited today because if you notice, my background looks a little different. I'm not sitting, and if you guys watch my old videos from back in the day, I used a Chroma Key, and I've been trying to go back to that again and see if you guys like it. So the background's a bit different, so if it's a little bit fuzzy in spots, that's my bad, guys. I'm still getting used to lighting green screens again. It's been a while. So, anyways, without further ado, let's talk about the second episode of Ash vs. Evil Dead because it's awesome! Okay, so Ash vs. Evil Dead, episode 2, titled Bait. We open up in a really strong scene that takes place immediately after this events of the first episode. And dare I say, I actually liked this episode, I think, more than the first one. The pacing is perfect. It's spot on. It's trying to tell a story as you go down this fine timeline. No frames are spared at all. Like, everything is important. So, Ash and the girl, I always forget her name, the girl in this TV show immediately starts off by saying, we have to go to my mother because she's alive. And that is an awesome idea to me, where we're gonna see some personal battles being done in Ash vs. Evil Dead, which we freaking do, and it's awesome. Ash is like, no, we can't, we have to go solve this with this book. And she's like, but my mother is alive. So she goes out and decides she's gonna go and steals Pablo's motorcycle. So Ash and Pablo have to work together, and he's like, she's got the book, dude, we gotta go after her now. And I'm like, smart thinking. We move along the episode, and as they're driving down the road, we still get to see that Ash is still kind of a deadbeat, and he's popping beers off, and while he's driving, because drink responsibly, children. It's true Ash. Like, this is something that I guess Ash does now, and I love seeing him be a deadbeat. That's the morbid side of me. And as we're driving down the road, we get our first conflict of the episode, and it's crazy intense and cool, is when the Deadite pops out in the back seat and is like, alright, Pablo, we gotta stop this evil, and evil is bad. Oh, sweet Jesus! It was kind of like that, and they're fighting in the back seat, well, technically the front seat, and Pablo's trying to drive, and Ash, during this whole segment right beforehand, was talking about how, you know, I fought this stuff a lot, and, you know, you learn to fight them by, you know, I've taken a lot of hits to the face, and I need a good hit to the face in order to keep going. And I was like, that's totally a pun at Sam Raimi, that Ash just gets the crap kicked out of him, but he still wins. And that is a strong, compelling thing for a hero. A hero that's completely indestructible is a lot less interesting than a hero who has to go through hell and trudge through it all to overcome it. And that is something I love about this show, is Ash gets beat up a lot. And I'm okay with that. It's actually pretty awesome. During this fight in the car, he takes a good hit to the face. He's like, see? Hit to the face as they're going around. And they're trying to fight, and his boss is like, you are like, evil will prevail. And he starts stabbing him because we need excessive blood in Evil Dead. Can we just get a blood splat right now, just for the funsies of it? Please, everybody? Yeah, Evil Dead. The blood is splattering everywhere. He's got the knife, and I love all the excessive blood. And as he continues to stab and nearly cuts his head off, he sticks his head out, the boss's head out the window, smash, opening titles. And I really hope that every episode starts with like a cool brutal kill and then blood splat titles. I think that would be awesome because Evil Dead is known for its blood and its excessive violence, and I am loving the excessive violence in this TV show. Call me morbid, but it's pretty awesome. I like the motif of the blood, And as they get to the house, this is where the real meat of the episode kicks off. Because we have the subplot of the detective going out on her own to try and figure out who Ash is. And I love the pun that they get the sketch of him. Like, well, he looked a lot dumber in person. And I was like, I don't know why I thought that was so funny. But I love the comedy mixed with the horror elements that this show has. I'm really digging that. Ash, they get to the house. One of my favorite segments kicks off in the entire show, and that is when Ash and Pablo are talking in the cars. They're like, okay, we're gonna do this. We're gonna go in there. We're gonna fight through all the carnage. And he's like, we'll let the boomstick do the talking. And then he's like, all right, Pablo, get your weapon. And he pulls up the used bottle. And he's like, I think I need something a little stronger than this, Hefe. And he's like, come on, I was sharpening it for you. Just use it. And I love it because Ash thinks on the spot like that. And it's more about him being a badass than it is about getting his buddies some backup. So they're getting ready and they charge in there and they've got the boomstick and the chainsaw and they're like, ah! And he's got the bottle and they're caked in blood and the family's just sitting there all normal and it's awkward and I love it. I'm a sucker for awkwardness in characters. I think it's intriguing, I think it's hilarious, and lo and behold, they continue to make it awkward. And which is funny because one of my biggest pet peeves in movies is awkward dinner conversations, because to me, I'm like, no characters and no people I know would actually be awkward at a dinner table. But this time, it was okay. Ash gets in there and they're having this awkward dinner conversation as he's interrogating the mother, as he's kind of like, I know that she is a deadite. Even though we're slowly thinking that maybe she's not, because a little bit ago, Pablo did reveal that he was the one who took the book, which I liked. We see that Pablo has his own intentions too, and he did it out of his own love, and I like seeing that in the character. I think it makes Pablo an interesting character, because it shows he's willing to betray Ash if it comes down to it, because he doesn't want to deal with that. He doesn't want to be the second string, and I like that we're seeing three very main characters with their own independent ideas in this saga. One of my favorite jokes in the whole thing, by the way, was where they were trying to explain the blood, and he's like, oh, we hit a deer on the way here, and the deer was caught in the engine and it exploded. And the dad was like, well, actually, I'm a hunter, and I've never seen deer explode. And Ash, which I feel like Bruce Campbell probably improv this, was, well, then maybe you're hunting the wrong deer. And I'm sorry, I don't know why I think that's so funny, but it is for me. So then, our dinner conversation comes to a close as Ash punches the woman in the face. And they're like, oh my god, like, why'd you do that, Ash? That's so mean. She's not a criminal. And then she gets up, and lo and behold, she's a deadite. And Ash, just like, oh, thank God. I was really starting to feel like a dick. All right. He said something along the lines of, all right, she bitch, let's go. But I think it was something, I think he still called her a bitch, but he was something like, all right, bitch, let's dance. It was something like that, and it was like, Ash, I love watching Ash on screen. And the fact that we're getting episodes weekly of Ash being awesome is so exciting for me. And then the fight, it's not quite, because this episode wasn't directed by Sam Raimi, but it's not quite a Raimi fight. But what I like is that it's an original, visually looking fight. Is we have like a GoPro attached to Ash's boomstick, and the camera is following him around as he's firing at her and reloading, and you're seeing it from almost like the view of the shotgun, like, you know those guitar videos where the camera's here and you're seeing the fingers? It was kind of like that. And I really liked it because it wasn't a Sam Raimi fight, but it still felt very Evil Dead, because Evil Dead had a very unique style. So how do you bring other directors in with uniqueness? And if you ask me, it's let them do the fights in their own creatively interesting way, not necessarily a commercial way. And I really liked seeing that. And then when the plot really thickens is when we get to our finale in the upstairs room, where the daughter, I always forget her name, when she's running up the stairs and then she's in the room and her mom is singing a lullaby and it's creepy as hell and they're trying to catch up to her, and when they get up there she's hugging her mom and it's like, no, she's better, we can fix her. And I like that they show it's very personal. You see, I think the people from The Walking Dead have it easy compared to the Deadites, because they see the zombies and they're like, yeah, they're dead, you know, that's a chance. The Deadites are able to switch back and forth between human and Deadite. So they're sitting there, it's like, oh, no, I'm getting better, we can fight through this together. And it's like, please. And then Ash is just kind of like, no, you can't. Even though he totally was kind of Deadite once, but details. They have their final showdown as he hits with the chainsaw into the wall and he's stuck and she's trying to kill him and with the shotgun and bam, and it's all intense. And I loved that. And then Pablo has to be the hero this time. And he runs up and he stabs her in the head and it's all gross because then she turns around and she's pulling the knife out of her head and I was like, ew! But it's so cool to watch. And then finally she's like, you're going to die. And he's like, you're right. Ash turns on the chainsaw, turns around, stabs her in the gut, and blood is shooting everywhere. And they're shooting all... It's fucked up. The blood is shooting all over Pablo and the girl. Her daughter... the daughter is having the mother's blood shot all over her as Ash is just kind of like, and then chainsaws her head off, and it's badass. We get one last joke at the end, which is Ash puts the cross in, and they talk about how, like, you know, these things killed them. You know, we're going to work together, you know, that we're now a team kind of thing. And if this is the formula that the episode has, where there's going to be one badass conflict, maybe two per episode, then I'm all for it, because that's like having the finale of an Evil Dead movie every week. And I love it. And then the last joke is where after he nails the crosses in, she's like, you know they were Jewish, right? And Ash pauses and is just kind of like, well then why did you let me build those dumb crosses? And it's great. It shows that they're gonna have humor throughout the whole thing, and then we get these badass and scary fights. And so you're gonna get your weekly scare. And for me anyway, this is perfect, because this show fills that void that while The Strain is filming season 3, I'm now getting my fix of horror meets action, and then we're gonna have just a whole season of this. I think there's going to be 10 episodes in the season, I think. I'm not sure. But I love how snappy the pacing is, because then at the end we have the detective who's at the bookstore first, which means next episode, do we get to see them finally meet and clash and work together eventually? That's where I think they're going to go with this, and we're going to have this team that's on Team Ash, and I am all for it. What did you guys think of this episode? Do you think this show is holding up? I think it is, because I think this episode was better than the first one. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Got plenty more videos coming to you.